Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. We continue to watch this area out in the eastern Atlantic. Been talking about this for a couple of days now, and it's that same area that last week we said it'd be working its way off the coast of Africa. Hurricane Center now highlighting this with a 70% chance of development over the next 7 days. Now, remember, development doesn't mean that we're talking about a tropical storm or a hurricane. We're talking about developing into a tropical depression. So it's really a really low standard for just getting into that chance of development. But with that said, it is likely to develop. It is likely to eventually become a tropical storm. But all is not perfect with this setup. You look at the closer view of this. Here's the system, still very disorganized, but you see the clusters of showers and storms. It's still somewhat of an elongated trough or a tropical wave. But notice you're still seeing a lot of this Saharan dust just to the north of this system. And there's just more plumes of that working its way off the coast of Africa. So that's going to continue to be something that I think we deal with over the next several days with this system. And it does look like at least some of this is affecting this system. There's maybe a little bit of wind shear on the northern side of this, but it looks like over the next several days, conditions as far as wind shear will decrease. So that becomes more favorable, but it will be a lot of that dry air that just continues to probably plague this system as we go through the coming days. So here it is on the Fox model. Fox model setting this up very well. And notice as we go through the next couple of days, you're seeing development with the system, but then notice here we are into Sunday, and you're still looking at fairly limited convection with this. Maybe you're seeing that circulation, but you watch how that loop went on, and you're not seeing this really looking like it is increasing in intensity and getting better defined. It does look like this system, even though we're going to see some development, it's going to continue to struggle. It's going to have some issues along the way, and a lot of that may continue to be some of that dry air plaguing this system as we go through the coming days. And we're seeing many models hinting at this same idea that it's going to slowly develop. It's going to have problems along the way, and a system that develops slower is going to tend to push a bit further to the south, staying more on that westerly track because the big ridge to the north that will basically just help to handle this system, and a stronger system would basically be able to penetrate a bit further to the north and deal with some of that ridge that is sitting to the north of it. So you look at the wind field with this and the peak wind gust as we go into the weekend, and that's where you are seeing some of that development, but you see the orange shade. We're in that 50 to 60 mile an hour range. So that's peak wind gusts. We're not talking about sustained winds. We're talking about wind gusts with this. So we're seeing those winds basically in tropical storm force, maybe a little bit of that getting up into that 60 to 100, but since you're seeing so little of it, you're looking more along the lines of maybe that lower end of that yellow, which would be more like that 60, 65 mile an hour wind gust with this. So this is really clearly putting this more in that range of a tropical storm that is working its way all the way through Monday of next week. So again, we're really seeing signs that this will be a very slow and a very gradual process as we go through the coming days. You look at the comparison between the AI, which is the European AI, and the GFS model, and there you see it, just like what we were looking at yesterday, a slow progression, ridge sitting to the north, which is going to continue to steer this more on that southerly direction, and at least with these models, keeping it even maybe a little bit further to the south than what we're seeing with our own Fox model. So it's going to be a wait and see, but I think it's going to be a long wait and see as we go through the next several days, through the weekend, and then next week. And we'll keep you updated right here on myfoxhurricane.com.